Hi there, I'm Azaria Tagaya and you're watching Ringgit Cents Plus. On today's show, we'll be talking about the overnight policy rate, or OPR, and how exactly it affects consumers. Also, we try to find out more about the Mortgage Reducing Term Assurance, or MRTA, and why you would need it. But before that, are you one of the many people who have thought about abandoning the 9-to-5 route and instead starting your own business? Or maybe you're one of those people who enjoys your office life, but you would still like to earn some side income, sometimes by selling cakes or cookies to your workmates. Well, what does it take to venture into entrepreneurship? When many people are selling much of the same things, how can you get customers to buy your products and not someone else's? And why do most businesses fail at the beginning? And how can you make sure that you don't? This week, we speak to Jeevan Sahadevan for some tips. Jeevan Sahadevan has had experience running all types of businesses, so he can certainly tell you what works. As one of the first business coaches in the country, in the past 19 years, he has helped several 100,000 people, if not more, to start and successfully expand their businesses. Some people may think of running a business on the side, while some may want to quit their jobs entirely and go full-time. Whatever the situation is, what should aspiring businessmen and women be aware of before starting the journey?
Everyone at some point in their life starts to dream of starting a business, and they get excited, they get hit by this entrepreneurial bug. You could be an employee in a company and suddenly like, you know what, I should be doing a business, I should start a business. Or you can be a university student saying, hey, I've been working so hard, what if I did something on the side? So everyone gets this. But before you go any further than that, the first thing to remember is this: all of business comes back to only two things. All of business. Whether you want to start a kedai runcit or sell curry puffs, or you want to be a unit trust agent, or you have a listed company, all of business comes down to only two things. And the two things is capture and keep customers. That's it. So whatever business you do, the first thing your brain's got to do is your brain's got to think about, all right, it's great that I feel like selling cakes, maybe baking cakes and selling cakes. The brain's got to go down the road of how would I capture customers for my cakes, and once I've caught them, how do I keep them coming back again and again? Because all of business comes back to only that.
According to Jeevan, once you truly understand how this works is when you can start using it to your advantage and start making money. Most often, people starting a business will meet with failure at the beginning of their journey, and the main reason is that they are not capturing customers. The way to do that requires a very simple formula.
So we look at the principle. So here's a formula. LG multiplied by CR equals C. So what's that formula? So LG stands for lead generation, CR stands for conversion rate, and C equals customers. So lead generation multiplied by the conversion rate equals customers. Meaning, if I got 10 leads, a lead is an inquiry, a potential customer, or a prospect. If I got 10 prospects showing some interest in my product, and my conversion rate is 10%, I will get 1 customer. If I got 10 prospects and my conversion is 50%, I'll get 5 customers. So whenever someone comes to me and says, Jeevan, I can't get customers, I say there's no such thing. He says, what do you mean there's no such thing? I say there's an equal sign before customers. So what is it that you're not getting, leads or conversion? Which one? Sometimes a person does some marketing and they get a lot of inquiries, but they got no customer sales, which means they're not converting any of those inquiries. Sometimes a person's very good at converting. They talk to 3 people, they close 3 people. But they're only talking to 3 people.
So how do you get those leads? Jeevan says location has a lot to do with it. Let's say you're selling cakes at the Ramadan Bazaar. Where you put your stall is where you will get those leads. Also, don't forget to get the word out about your product by taking advantage of mediums such as Instagram and Facebook.
You go onto all of your social media and you take a video of you making the cakes and say, we're selling some of those amazing cakes at this Bazaar Ramadan. You gotta come and they'll finish very fast. Amazing. We only have 320 cakes. Whack in some scarcity. So you go on videos and now people know. So people are going to start coming and they're going to start looking for the cakes. Then when they do show up, you might want to have some tasting samples ready, and then you might want to tell a story.
Jeevan advises that the story told is personalized. Maybe the cakes you're selling use a family recipe, or perhaps you use only organic ingredients that the customers might enjoy knowing of.
So you start telling a story that's incredibly nice about it, your conversion starts to go up. So you're engaging the person, and then you test that script. You call that script 1. So script 1, you say something a certain way about the cake, and watch, are people buying when I talk like this? No? Change. Script 2. Now you say something new, and now see, okay, are people buying? You'll try about 10 scripts, and maybe script number 7 was your successful script. Keep that one.
Business is a science and there's no luck to it, Jeevan says. In this regard, you can sell any product or service provided you understand the science behind it. But what about those who just want to get some additional income by selling Raya cookies in their office or workplace? Usually, you'll find that most people have already come up with the idea, and then you'll be faced with some competition from your colleagues. So, how do you make yours stand out?
So you want to talk about the advantages of your cookies over every other cookie out there. So you can tell when someone comes to you, you can say, look, other people put these things in their cookies, we put this. Other people use flour, ours is flourless. Or other people use oils, we use butter. And other people use, like say, cocoa, we use cocoa butter, and so on. So you want to show what's different about your cookies, because you cannot leave it to the customer to figure this out. And it could even be something as simple as the no sugar cookies. And people are like, oh, that's interesting, so even diabetics can buy this. And then no artificial sweeteners, no preservatives, no sugars. When you buy our cookies, you need to put them in the fridge because they'll go bad in 2 days or in 3 days because there's nothing, and then you heat it up in the oven or something like that. So you talk about why it's unique, and you can actually have a little sign saying 5 reasons why you should buy this cookie over any other cookie you see, and then you list those reasons down. So now a person already knows in their brain why you're better, because no one's doing that.
What about students who are eager to start a business but may have little or no capital? Jeevan says if they're serious about the business, they can always try and borrow from people they know just to get the ball rolling.
And what you could do is you can put a word out, say, guys, I'm looking for someone to help me with capital, and if anyone can give me a soft loan of about 3,000 ringgit or even 5,000 ringgit, and I'll give you back a 10% return. So I'm going to go and use this money to buy these ingredients, and you spell it all out. So they know you're not just simply asking money to go for some nonsense, but you spell it out. So I'm going to use these 37 ingredients I need to purchase. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And if someone can help me out with a soft loan, I can then give you back that money as soon as the Bazaar Ramadan is over with a 10% return. And see, straight away you'll get friends already working with you on this. So you see, capital is not as much a problem as it is with the product. Usually the issue is lack of ideas.
Better yet, why not partake in something that can make you income on the side with very little capital?
There are a lot of businesses now that you can actually get into also with almost nothing, with almost no capital. Many people, when they think business, they'll think, they think selling cakes, or they'll think selling curry puffs, or mihun and fried rice, and all that sort of stuff, which is very labor intensive. So after work, if you're in college and in university and you're studying, after that, when you finish classes, you're tired. You're exhausted. If you're going to sit there and you're going to start making fried rice and sell, it's going to knock you out. So there are other businesses where you can make sometimes even 10 times more money than this.
Dealing in unit trusts and being a property negotiator in the real estate business are some areas to look into, where earning even 1 or 2% in commission for properties you sell can add up to quite a lot in the long run.
So you've got MLM, you've got unit trust, you've got property. MLM, the only setback is you might have to buy some products. Whereas with the other two, there's nothing there to buy other than the trainings. So these are some that you can immediately start with, and then you use your existing network, people you know, and you could get a move on. You could start getting sales already, and again, so and you can go out there into the marketplace to get sales. Even your lecturers can sign up with you for something. So that would be some very good businesses to get started with, actually.
Whatever it is that you decide to venture into, the most important thing is to stick to the formula mentioned earlier in getting your product or service known, and then to translate that into revenue.
The key, marketing. You've got to get yourself out there. And today the thing is, it's really simple because we have so much firepower when it comes to marketing. Example, we've got Instagram. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube. You've got so many options for marketing. If you go back, and if you remember, about 15, 20 years ago, there was no such thing. So I've been coaching businesses now for almost 20 years. I remember back then, if you went back 15 years old, you know what was the biggest strategy back then? It was direct mailing and faxing. Some people don't even know what a fax machine looks like today. So you see, so back then, those were things you had to do. You had to do yellow page advertising. Remember that one? So yellow pages. Today people are like, hey, what's that? You know, so to struggle with a business is simply because you're not doing that formula. Lead generation multiplied by conversion rate equals customers. Lead generation would be commonly known as marketing. Conversion is commonly known as sales, and that equals customers. So people are not working on that formula if they're not making money.
Well, hopefully you found those tips useful. If you're one of those running a business or selling things on the side, try some of the tips shared today and then tell us, did they work for you? We would love to hear your feedback. Coming up after the break, we take a look at the overnight policy rate, or OPR, and what it means to you. Ringgit Sense Plus will be back after this. I'm Azaria Tagaya, and you're still watching Ringgit Sense Plus. Last week, Bank Negara Malaysia cut its overnight policy rate, or OPR, to 3% from 3.25%. Since then, many banks, such as Maybank and RHB, have since followed suit by also lowering their base lending rate, and also for their Islamic financing rates. Don't understand what OPR is or what it means to you? Well, let us put it in layman's terms for you. Bank Negara thinks that the Malaysian economy is facing challenges for it to grow. So to help it along, Bank Negara is going to make borrowing money from banks easier by reducing the interest rates. This in turn will hopefully spur people to spend more money. The downside? Well, banks will be paying less interest in fixed deposit rates, and the ringgit will also be valued less against the US dollar. Many of the banks have already adjusted their rates the very next day after Bank Negara made the announcement. If you're shopping for a personal loan or a car loan, Han Liu, the CEO of Ringgit Plus, advises consumers to wait a few more weeks so that the bank rates are reflected in upcoming new loan packages that will be cheaper.
If you were thinking of taking a loan for your car, or taking a personal loan for whatever reason, you might want to hold on to it for a minute if you can, and wait for those rates to drop, right? Wait for those products that are out there in the market, for banks to start evaluating, hey, you know what, I'm getting a drop in interest rates internally, can I offer a more competitive product to consumers out there? It might take a few days, it might take a few weeks. Hang in there. When all banks have adjusted, then you can do your own comparisons again and see, hey, which one now gives me a good deal.
However, if you're shopping for a bank loan to buy a property consultant Faizul Rizwan says you don't have to wait, as it's now a buyer's market.
Bagi saya, kalau deal tu okey ataupun harga tu sangat okey dan rumah tu memenuhi keperluan mereka sendiri, mereka boleh beli je, tak perlu tunggu pun. Sebab kejatuhan ni, kita tengah cerita pasal RM10 kejatuhan for every 100,000, benda tak meaningful sangat, ya, tak besar sangat. Untuk mereka yang tak tahu, transaksi hartanah pada tahun 2017 adalah kadar terendah in the last 11 tahun. 2018 naik sikit. So we are looking at, orang cakap, kadar kedua terendah in the last 12 tahun. Itu transaksi hartanah. So sentimen, orang cakap, hari ini adalah sentimen market pembeli. So kalau kita membeli hari ini, kita ada banyak pilihan, diskaun pun lebih banyak, deal pun orang cakap lebih menarik. So sebagai contoh, kalau untuk mereka yang nak beli rumah tahun ni, saya sarankan buat benda ni. Beli rumah baru, beli rumah daripada yang orang cakap under campaign di bawah HOC, anjuran kementerian, sebab banyak rebate, banyak diskaun, banyak insentif yang diberikan.
Those with a home loan can expect some good news with a letter from the bank explaining that their monthly repayment has also been reduced.
Kalau contoh, kejatuhan 25 basis point ni is lebih kurang setiap bulan untuk setiap 100,000 kalau tak salah saya adalah satu kopi Starbucks lebih kurang RM12 untuk step 100,000. Right? So maksudnya loan kita, kalau loan rumah tu dia akan jadi lebih murah. Kalau dulu installment is 2,400 untuk rumah yang sama, so hari ni you boleh estimate pengurangan sikit daripada kita punya interest rate tu kalau bank tu decide untuk jatuhkan juga mereka punya base rate setara dengan kejatuhan OPR.
Also, a financial advisor we spoke to says you should shop around to refinance your home loan to reduce your repayment even further. That should save you more money every month. For those of you who have money in fixed deposits in the bank, start looking around for other places to put your money, such as money market or bond unit trust funds. This is because banks would have also lowered the interest rates for fixed deposits, so you'll be making less money to keep your money in them.
Bila interest rate akan jatuh, bermaksud kita akan ada better disposable income sebab loan kereta, personal loan, loan rumah semua dah kurang sikit. So kita ada extra duit setiap bulan. Pada pendapat saya, itu adalah apa yang bank negara cuba nak buat bila mereka turunkan OPR tu supaya dia dapat stimulate local consumption ataupun local economy tu. Membiarkan orang lain ada lebih sikit duit untuk menyimpan dan berbelanja.
Our advice to you is, if you have extra money saved each month, think of investing it. The very least you can do is to invest in yourself by buying books that will improve your knowledge about making investments. Well, it's time for another short break. When we come back, we speak to our friends from Ringgit Plus to find out more about the MRTA. What is it and why would you need it? The answers after this. Back with us on Ringgit Sense Plus. Thanks for staying tuned. Now, in this part of the show, we read out questions from our viewers who have reached out to us on our Facebook page. And to help answer your questions, we have once again Bruce Tam joining us in the studio. Hi, Bruce. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again. Thank you.
Okay, so this week we have a question from one of our viewers, Zachary. He and his wife, Gina, actually wrote to us saying that they want to buy their first home. So when they went to the bank actually told them that they also need an MRTA. So they've never heard of an MRTA. So can you explain to us what exactly is it?
Okay. A lot of us have not heard of MRTA because we have not purchased a property. Only when you purchase a property, the bank will come to you and say, hey, you should get an MRTA, right? So MRTA basically stands for Mortgage Reducing Term Assurance. Yeah, it's a long name, right? But let me break it down. Mortgage reducing, basically the word reducing is it's not level. Not level is, let's say for example, if I'm taking a normal insurance plan, it will cover me on a level term or on a level basis. Basically, if I'm covered for 500,000 this year, next year I'll be covered for 500,000. The following year I will, right? Reducing basically means that this year, if I were to be covered at 500,000, next year will be lesser, and then it will be subsequently lesser in the following years. Why? Because this follows your loan amount. Because as you pay down your loan, it will be lesser as well. So it goes in conjunction with your loan amount. Yep. So what it does is, what does MRTA do? MRTA is basically designed to protect a loan borrower of a property and also, of course, his dependents. So in the event of death or total permanent disablement, the insurance company will pay the bank the amount that is covered. So this basically pretty much covers the balance of the loan that you are owing to the bank.
Okay.
So this is what MRTA does. So this, but then MRTA, what it does is there is also a little pro and cons on MRTA. Basically, basically MRTA only covers a particular property. So, for example, if someone were to sell off that particular property, they will also have to cancel the MRTA because it's linked to that particular property.
I see.
Yep. So that's how it works. But at the same time, because but at the same time, you have to pay lump sum for MRTA, which the bank can offer you a loan for it.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good thing.
Okay, so that's MRTA and that's why we actually need it. But is there a takaful version or an Islamic financing version of the MRTA, or is it just standard?
Yes, there is a takaful version. It's called MRTT. It's called mortgage reducing term takaful.
I see.
Which takaful basically is the insurance part of it, right? So it's Sharia compliant. So it doesn't have things like doesn't have elements like uncertainty, interest, and also gambling. But everything, its purpose is actually the same, to protect a borrower of a loan in the event of something happens.
Okay, so just now you mentioned about death. So what happens if something actually happens to the property? Let's say a landslide or a fire or something that destroys the property. What happens then?
That is entirely different insurance altogether. There is insurance called homeowners insurance. Yeah, it covers things like fire, it covers things like theft or natural disasters. So that is an entirely different thing. MRTA does not have anything to do with it. It covers, basically MRTA covers a person in the event this person is not able to pay off the loan that he has actually acquired from the bank.
Yeah.
So that's what MRTA is designed and does.
I see.
Yeah, it doesn't cover the property itself.
I see. Okay, well, thank you so much for your explanation. As always, it's always fun to have you guys from Ringgit Plus help us with our questions from our viewers.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, guys, that's the end of today's show. Now, if you'd like to connect with us, go to our Facebook page where you can leave your questions and your comments. And that's also where you can watch all the segments from today's show. Remember to invest and save wisely. I'm Azaria Tagaya. We'll see you again next time.